This lesson is going to be looking at graphing using intercepts or graphing when your equation is written in standard form. So you could have the equation y equals 2x plus 4y equals 8 graphed. That is in standard form. Remember, standard form is ax plus by equals c. So the first thing you could do with it is you could put it back into slope-intercept form. So if I had the equation 2x plus 4y equals 8, if I wanted to put it in slope-intercept form, I would need it to look like y equals mx plus b. So that means I wanted to solve this for y. So the first thing I would do would be subtract the 2x from both sides. Right, 2x minus 2x is 0, so they cancel out. I'd be left with a 4y, and then I have negative 2x plus 8. Then I want to divide both sides by 4 to finally isolate my y, so I would have y equals, I want to take now both things and divide them by 4. So negative 2 divided by 4, you can't do that, that'd be a fraction, so I have to simplify, which just gives me negative 1/2 x. And then it's plus 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So now I have my equation in slope-intercept form, so now I can graph it because I know my slope is negative 1/2 and my y-intercept is 2. So I'd start my graph at 2 on my y-axis, and then my slope is negative 1/2, which means negative means I'm going down 1 and 2 to the right. Down 1, 2 to the right. Down 1, 2 to the right, down 1, 2 to the right, down 1, 2 to the right. And then to get up here on the left, I'm going up 1, 2 to the left, 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 up 1, 2 to the left. And then I should be able to connect it with a straight line. Or you could do it a quicker way and graph by finding the x and the y-intercepts. When you find the values here, you want to look at a t-chart, and I noticed I made an error already in my t-chart because my error in my t-chart is the fact that each one of these should be a 0. So when you find your intercepts, each intercept, one of the values should be a 0. So when you make your t-chart, you want one time the x to be 0 and the other time the y to be 0. So in order to find what you're looking for here, I use the cover-up method. So the cover-up method, I'm just going to use the marker here, and I'm going to cover up one of the values. So I'm going to make the y 0. So if I make the y 0, this all goes away. So what's not covered in blue, the rest of the equation says 2x equals 8. If I were going to solve that for x, I would divide both sides by 2, and I'd be left with x is equal to 4, because 8 divided by 2 is 4. So in the empty spot in the table, I would replace that with a 4. That's where the 4 came from that was in the table originally. So then I want to do the same thing, but I want to cover up the other number. So I'm covering up the other number in green, then the blue is now gone. So what's left in the equation is the equation for y is equal to 8. So I wanted to solve by dividing both sides by 4, and I'm left with y being equal to 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So then in my table, the y value is 2. So those are my two intercepts for my graph. So I want to put those 2 points on the grid. So I have 0, 2, and I have 4, 0. Those are my values for my intercepts. So I want to connect them using a straight line, and my graph line should look like that. So the graph line that you see on this page and the page that we previously did when we changed it into slope-intercept form should be exactly the same line.